So, I want to do some New Year's resolutions, but I want to actually do them. I've never really been successful with New Year's resolutions, and I think a large part of that is just due to the types of resolutions I'm making as well as what I do in order to accomplish them. Some resolutions have been super doable, such as reading a little more or exercising more, but it never really comes to fruition in the way that I think about initially. I think a major issue with New Year's resolutions is that you're making them at a very specific point in time for a long period of time. And you essentially have like a week or two to think about what you would be committing to for an entire year. The classic story is that for the first couple weeks, months of a new year in January, the gym is packed, and that's because a lot of people told themselves that they would go to the gym more, work out more, etc. And then by February, March, it starts clearing up a lot. And that is the problem I've faced when it comes to a lot of my goals for any year. That being said, I'm now going to talk a little bit about what I hope to do for myself in the new year, and then also a little bit about how that's going to impact the channel and also other things I'm doing online.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness.
So let me break down for you, but also myself, sort of the different categories of what I'm kind of doing in the new year. Because my energy should be put on these two things the most. That's just kind of how it is. And I think where resolutions, or I guess the traditional notion of resolution really comes through is in the things that are not related to the absolute necessities, right? So I do have goals outside of these necessities. Like always, we're gonna say, I want to read. I want to read some books. Generally, I make a goal on my Goodreads account. I did actually do it 2-ish years ago, but I did not do very well this year. Reading's a little hard because I'm in school. I'm reading a lot for assignments. It's kind of reading for pleasure just doesn't really feel like a break in the same way that watching a YouTube video or a TV show or doing any of these other things, playing video games, those really do feel more like breaks to me. Sort of on that front, I want to sort of watch less videos. So I'm not going to include TV or movies in here because in my opinion, TV and movies has become a productive activity. Maybe this is a boomer take, but in comparison to a YouTube video or scrolling reels, I guess scrolling reels is probably the better example here because there are some good YouTube videos. But if we're comparing scrolling reels to watching a TV show, one of them is going to be much more beneficial to your life. I've watched TV shows that have changed my opinion on my life and on how I should act towards other people. I've not watched a single reel which has given me any thought besides, haha, that's kind of funny. So this is mainly talking about reels and YouTube slop. And that's not really to say YouTube is a bad platform. Like, I really do love YouTube. I love watching YouTube videos. But I would like to transition from watching videos to creating videos. And I think my problem is that I want to have good ideas prior to making videos. And for the kinds of videos that I want to make, or even the kinds of videos that I can make with the time that I'm able to put in, it's not really worth overthinking it. I really just need to do it. And so for this channel, I don't necessarily think that this video is very well thought out. I've kind of been all over the place, but the intention of this video is to help me think a little bit more about next year. And so for this channel, that means actually making things and talking about my life, my thoughts, and also giving me an outlet to look at my life a little more objectively than I have been in the past. We are absolutely surrounded by the lives of other people, the thoughts of other people. If you go online, you can see all of your friends, what they're doing. You can go on YouTube, you can see what a famous celebrity or streamer is doing. And like, it's okay to be a viewer. I just think I need to be intentional when it comes to being a viewer. I cannot have my phone on all the time, walking around the house, watching YouTube while I'm eating, watching YouTube while I'm cooking, watching YouTube on the side while I'm doing my homework. These things are just not compatible and actively ruining my life. And I'm now going to go on a bit of a boomerish rant here, because I do think that the struggles that I've encountered in locking in or being a little more intentional with my life is why we're cooked as a species. Realistically, I stand absolutely nothing to gain by being on this thing all day. Perhaps it can be approached healthfully. Maybe there's a way you can use Instagram Reels or YouTube in a productive way, but for me, I've only experienced negatives when it comes to these platforms. Regulating use, I've found, has been extremely difficult, and I've used a number of different apps to try to do it, and I just came to the conclusion that it was impossible. I think even before short-term content, I was already kind of struggling with being alone in my thoughts, and short-term content is probably the antithesis of letting yourself sort of just think about what's going on, what you're doing, because there's always something new to strive to. You can always find another thing to focus on, and yet there's no intentionality in that focus. You don't have to think while you're doing this. You're just consuming. For a lot of books, if you're not paying attention, you're not going to get anything out of it. When it comes to Reels, it doesn't matter if you don't get anything out of it, because there's no meaning to be had in the first place. Like, a lot of these Reels have no meaning. And maybe this makes me boomer. I don't know. But I have a lot of thoughts along these lines, and I'm definitely going to be making some videos on them in the following year. I also want to shout out a podcast that I've been making recently. It's called En Route, and it's with one of my best friends. We just kind of talk for around an hour, I'd say. We try to make it come out every week, although we've done like 2 or 3 hiatuses at this point due to, I'm very excited for the coming year. I think that, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't think that I can just flip a switch next year and be intentional, but I think just really drilling it into how I approach things, if I'm consistently telling myself, or asking myself even, if I'm consistently asking myself, what am I getting out of this, or what am I doing, how is this contributing towards doing X, Y, Z, I'm going to be in a lot more situations where I'm going to stop doing something that is, not beneficial to me. I don't think I need to min-max my life. I don't always have to be doing something productive. And I think that, but I think the extent to which I'm being unproductive right now is unacceptable, and that it needs to stop. And I have way too many things I could be doing at all times then. Yeah, so I hope that I get to speak a little bit more about this in the future. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about it for En Route. Maybe expect a little bit more videos like this one. I understand that it's a little all over the place. It's not really meant to be content in the same way that other YouTubers make content. Just saying all my thoughts into the void. Hopefully it will have positive externalities for me set me on a better path than I otherwise would be on, and serve as sort of internet proof of how I, in this moment, want to approach being a person next year, and help me in achieving my goals and being intentional about the things that I do on a daily basis. So yeah, I hope I can make some cool things next year, and that you will all be there.